Hi and welcome to Tuesdays with Grace. My name is Megan and I am part of the education team, and I'm really excited to show you this project that I have created for you this week on Tuesdays with Grace. So this week I created a wood carving heart quilt in honor of Valentine's Day. And so I have the heart here and I quilted initials in the middle. I also included wood grain. So each of these wood grain is quilted, and I started at one point and then I went down and then I stopped and started again so I could get that really wood look. And so to make this quilt bigger and more of a lap size quilt, I added borders and quilted those in freemotion leaves. And all of this is in the pattern on our website. So you can find all of the instructions on how to make the quilt in our pattern on the Tuesdays with Grace site. So today, I'm going to show you how to make a bench pillow version of this quilt. So if you're looking for something quick and something easy to do before Valentine's Day, this is going to be a project for you. And it's the same process as the quilt, it's just it's a smaller version of what we do in the quilt. So the first thing you're going to want to do is print out your pattern. So included in the pattern is a template for the heart. So you're going to want to cut this out and take it to freezer paper if you want to do turned under applique like I did here on the heart and have this clean edge. But if you want to do raw edge like I'm going to do with the bench pillow, you just cut out the heart. And so you'll cut out the template and you'll take it to your freezer paper or your fabric, and then you're going to take it to the fold. So you're going to fold your fabric and then take the template and put it right on the fold, and then you can cut out your heart. And so once you finish cutting it out, then you will end up with a perfect heart. So then if you're doing this on a quilt or you're doing this on your pillow, you're going to take this middle wood fabric. So I have this gray for the fabric on the quilt and this brown for the pillow. And you're going to place it wherever you like on the quilt. And you can pin this and you can use Wonder Under to fuse it to the quilt. I'm just going to lay it on top and then I'm going to take it to my machine. So we're just going to use a straight stitch and we're going to stitch all the way around the heart. Every once in a while, you're going to need to make sure the heart is flat against your wood fabric, especially if you're doing it like me. So what you're going to want to do is just stop and readjust and make sure the heart is still where you want it to be. So I'm going to put my needle down, and then I'm going to lift up my foot and I'm going to turn it when I reach the bottom point so that I have a crisp point here at the bottom. You're going to want to take your time on these curves to make sure you have a really nice curved edge. So make sure you take your time when you're going around the curves. Then when I get to the heart part, I'm going to make sure my needle's down again and turn it so I have a nice crisp corner. Okay, so now my heart is nice and attached. So if I was using the freezer paper method, in the pattern it is written, so you'd flip this over and you would cut a 2-inch line right here with fabric scissors like these So you cut a line here, and then you would take the freezer paper out so your quilt isn't stiff. So once you get this to this part, this is where you would add borders if you're making a quilt, or if you want to add borders to your bench pillow, this is where you would add them. So I like the way it looks here, so this is when I'm going to take it over to my frame and quilt it there. Okay, so now I'm here at the frame and I'm ready to quilt my wood grain. So wood grain, this is actually, it's a lot simpler than it looks. So you can use your marking tool and mark on the fabric where you want to have the wood grain, or you could just decide where you want to do it with your machine. So for me, I'm just going to I like to start my wood grain up here at the top. So I have basted on my pillow to the fabric, and I have done a basting stitch as far as my safe area will allow. And so I'm going to start up here by the top of my basting stitch. So I'm going to pull up my threads and then hold them, and then I'm going to do a straight stitch down. Kind of wiggling it. To look like wood grain. So then I'm going to stitch back and forth a little bit to make sure I secure it, and then pull up my threads. And then you continue that process all the way across the quilt until you get something that looks like wood grain. So you don't have to start at the top all the time, and I cannot reach the bottom of my pillow. And so I'll start a line where I want to, and then when I roll the pillow on the fabric, then I'll start from that line and then continue until I finish that at the bottom. So say I wanted to start here. I'm going to stitch back and forth. And then I'm going to go as far as my safe area will let me. So then when I roll the fabric, I will start here at this point, and then I'll continue to the bottom. Also, make sure you clip your threads while you're going so that you don't get tangled and it doesn't cause problems. And you can add little ones and make knots in your tree, whatever you decide to do. Until you get a full tree trunk all the way across your pillow. And then just continue doing this along the entire length of your fabric until you finish the tree. And making sure, go around the heart. Do not quilt in the heart because we're going to want to do something else that I'll explain to you in just a second. So within your heart, you can do whatever you want. So with Valentine's Day, you can do your own initials, or you can quilt whatever you want. So I used on my heart here, I used Font Stitcher, and I stitched out the initials of me and my husband. But if you don't have Font Stitcher, you can draw your own initials and quilt it that way. Or you could quilt another design using automation or freemotion that you want in your heart. So you can really personalize this to you. So make it your own, and please share with us what you want to put into your heart and what you care about for Valentine's Day. And I was so excited to show you this project. I'm so glad you tuned in with me this week. Please follow us on social media, and if you have any questions, let us know at the Education Team with Grace. We're excited to see you next week.